Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Out of the Box with Christine. I am your host, Christine Blosdale, and I am so happy about today's show. I've been looking forward to this for, weeks, months? It's been a while. Yeah. I've been really looking forward to this program because my guest list, if you've ever had an issue charging people a little bit more for your services, if you've ever wondered, who the hell are my clients? Who do I need to target for the work that I do, the expertise that I have? Then this show is for you, and we want you to share this show as well. My guest today is Loren Fogelman, who is a keynote speaker and one of America's top-ranked business coaches, who continues to be recognized by HubSpot in its annual list of the world's top 22 business coaches. I knew it was a magical fit because 22 is my favorite number in the whole wide world. As a keynote speaker, Loren has delivered talks and workshops at major conferences such as Inbound, which is one of the world's most esteemed content marketing events for entrepreneurs. She is an expert in pricing strategy, as I mentioned, and sales for small business owners. Her passion is empowering entrepreneurs to double revenues by working half the time through strategic pricing and effective sales techniques. Loren coaches entrepreneurs to shift away from the trap of dollars per hour and that business model to be a value-based model. And that long intro is for you, Loren. And welcome to Out of the Box with Christine.
Hey, Christine, so excited. And you're right, this has been a really long time coming that we've been talking about this, planning it, had some obstacles, things got messy, and here we are. So we're going to just kick the box to the curb today.
It's an unusual show too, because normally I do the full-on interview of my guests that are wonderful master teachers. Everyone that I have on Out of the Box is a master teacher in health, in relationships, in business, and I consider you one of the master teachers, especially with the number 22 in the top 22 business coaches. So let's just, as an introduction, let's let our wonderful listeners and viewers know a little bit about you and the work that you do. I know I said a bit in the introduction, but what is it that you bring to your clients?
Sure. The first thing is I'm a sports psychologist turned business coach, and my path led me into working with entrepreneurs and helping them with their pricing strategies, because I have found that entrepreneurs are like the backbone of the economy for this country. When they do well, they give back generously to their community, locally, regionally, internationally. And I also found that for themselves as well as for me, as I lift myself up that ladder, I take people up the ladder with me as well. And that's what so many entrepreneurs do too, because we're coming from a place of service. Part of what I found is that my education prepared me to be fantastic at that thing that I do. I got the skill sets, I got the trainings, I got the knowledge, the techniques, which has continued to improve over time. However, most of us are trained to be an employee working for someone else, not being an entrepreneur, building our own businesses. Because that, when I decided to move down the entrepreneurial path instead of the employee path, I realized that there were some fundamentals I was lacking. I didn't know how to price my services. I didn't know how to sell without being that traditional or symbolic salesy person, which wasn't how I was wired. And I didn't know how to network, especially with the fact that I tend to be more of an introvert than an extrovert.
Really? Me too. I love my home.
Exactly. I'm really an ambivert. I'm on the cusp. I can go extrovert when I need to, but after a certain amount of time, I just want to get back home in my yoga pants.
Yeah.
Because that I didn't really know how to network, and I avoided that also. Therefore, I have spent thousands of hours and tens of thousands of dollars on figuring out those three things. the pricing piece, the sales piece, and the networking piece, because you have to have those fundamentals in order to really have a thriving business.
Yeah.
And I know that I wasn't the only one struggling with that. Apparently, this is the path I'm supposed to be taking, and I am on a mission to help entrepreneurs who have a service separate their fees from time, because that is not their highest value.
And I really love, one of the things that I love about the work that you do, and I've been reading up. I got your book that
Get paid what you're worth.
yes, I did, and I went through this, and I love the way that you explain to people that to teach your clients or potential clients to view your services as an investment in them and in their business instead of an expense. And it turns it around.
Absolutely. Well, I think that one of the key parts that you're touching on, and I really just want to emphasize it, is that so often we're looking at our business from our seat, what we've invested time and money and what we think is important. We rarely ever, as business owners, step into our clients' shoes, looking at things from their perspective. Because of that, I have really devoted how I approach my business and teaching my clients to come from the place of what's called preeminence. Now, preeminence just sounds rich and spiritual in and of itself. It's a really cool word. However, it means coming from that place of being a trusted advisor, where I am more concerned about what is in their best interest than what's in my best interest. And that is a game changer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Isn't that true? Because we want to keep shoving out, this is what you need, this is what I'm good at. And that you're forgetting that also each person has an individual need and desire, right?
Sure. And when you're shoving things down their throat, they become like a teenager where you're the mom yelling at them and they're like, yeah, I can't hear you. And it doesn't work. It creates a disconnect.
Yeah, very much so. So today's show, we're going to do something a little different. I had mentioned, I teased it a little bit, that normally I just ask, I'm the one who asks the question. Well, we always have conversations, right, with my guests, but you're going to do something unique with me, and something that you do with your clients as well. So why don't you tell our listeners and our viewers what you're going to do?
Sure. But basically, you and I are doing a role reversal where I get to actually ask the questions and you're going to be answering them.
Okay.
The things I'm going to ask you apply to everybody that is joining us today. They can follow along too, because this is going to not just apply to you, Christine, it's going to be universal, applying to anybody that's joining us, helping them make a more strategic move in their business. And this comes right out of my pricing blueprint, where the very first thing that I do out of the 5 steps that I offer is figure out who your ideal client is. And just to give an overview of what I call the ultimate pricing blueprint that I offer and teach, is looking at knowing who your ideal client is. And then we start to define your system of what separates you. How do you take your clients through a process and articulate that? After that, we go into how to package, bundle, or put various services together that your clients usually need and want, instead of doing a la carte services. From that, I then go into the pricing part of it, of how do we price your services for value to separate your fees from time. Finally, we are looking at where do your clients hang out, so that you can get in front of them and really make those connections in a way that comes from you talking to them in a way that they actually hear what you have to say. And it's like speaking their love language. So that is the 5 parts of the ultimate pricing blueprint. And we are doing a deep dive into the very first thing that I do with all my clients, which is figuring out who your ideal client is. So are you ready to get started and roll up our sleeves and dig in?
I am. My sleeves are not rolled, but I'm ready.
Beautiful. The very first thing that I want to know then is really figuring out, do you have an ideal client? And when I'm asking you about that, I want you to think about who is one client that you have worked with. If you can work with this person all day, every day, that would be like the sweet spot for you.
I know exactly who you're talking about. My a client who's actually, I think she's in her early 70s or just turned 70. I
Mm-hmm.
love her because she is coming from a place of passion, and my ideal client would be probably someone like her.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with entrepreneurs
Mm-hmm.
who want to, number one, have their own podcast show,
Mm-hmm.
or B, want to be a guest on a podcast show. And many times it's the two intertwined. Or
Mm-hmm.
I train them to that if you've got a podcast show, you want to be a guest on podcast show. But most of
Mm-hmm.
it's entrepreneurs and folks who have that burning desire to create a podcast show.
Okay. And I am taking copious notes, so if I don't answer right away, it's
That's
because of the fact that I'm just really just taking in what you're saying. The thing that I believe then from listening to you is that the podcast, whether they're on a guest or they want to create that show, is the vehicle.
yes.
That is not really why they're connecting with you and buying with you. I
Oh.
want to hear, yeah. Okay, tell me about the light bulb that just went off for you right now.
Well, no, I know why they want to work with me.
Okay, let's go into that. Tell me why they want to work with you. I want to hear that a little bit more.
I believe, and you might have to ask them, but
Yeah.
my experience, I've been in entertainment.
And think about this one person. So I want to just think
Yeah.
about this one person. Tell me about her.
Well, in particular, because she's seen me speak,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how I get some clients is after speaking. She has
Sure.
seen me speak and was impressed with me, with the
Mm-hmm.
not only
Yeah.
my energy and my authenticity, but she was also very impressed with the amount of work that I've done. I've been in radio for almost 20 years.
Okay, Christine, I'm going to interrupt you because now
Yeah.
you're focusing on you.
Oh,
This is not
yes.
about you. We need to focus on her. What was her burning desire? And it wasn't about creating a podcast. The podcast is the vehicle.
Yes. No, her burning desire is actually to write a book. And
Okay,
this,
but that's a purpose, that's a
yes.
vehicle also. What is it? She's looking to get a message out. Let's talk about that.
Oh, yes. Yes. It's all about spotlighting women who push the limits. And that's the name of her show, Women Who Push the Limits. And so showcasing women who really are outstanding in their field or who have overcome an obstacle. That's her desire.
Right. And we're still getting into the real current things. Tell me about what happened where all of a sudden she wanted to really get out. She's in her 70s. Let's just go there. All of a sudden something happened where she had this burning desire to really speak out in a big way, whether it's through a book, a podcast, speaking, all these different platforms that are now available to her. But what was it that she can't let just die and go to her grave with?
I am taking an educated guess on this.
Yeah,
because,
please.
Yeah, because she is a consultant. She works fully at a different career, and she is a consultant, and she works with a lot of women CEOs and women entrepreneurs, and she comes at them from helping them with their business in a different angle, right? But I think I'm believing for her that she's at this point in life where her knowledge and her wisdom that she's gained has helped put her into connection with some amazing.
Okay, I got it. Okay, what just came to me, because this is how it works. She knows that she's in her sunset years. Let's just be honest about that. I believe that through the book and the podcast, this is about creating her legacy.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see how that just shifted things for you? It got deeper. It's not really about the podcast. It's not about the book, but we really connected to some burning desire deep within her, because you knew she had a burning desire, but the podcast and the book is kind of superficial. She's looking to create a legacy.
And the podcast and the book are just ways to get to that legacy.
They are vehicles.
Right.
And so think about that. Is it possible that the people that come to you, your ideal client, similar to this woman, are people who really have something within them and they don't want to just let it remain
Yes.
within them anymore. They have this calling to get out of their comfort zone and really share what they have learned over their years and not let it die with them.
Definitely. You just nailed a brand new client that I spoke with last week, and her and her son want to do, their vehicle is the podcast for families with autism, right? But
Yep.
their burning desire is that we've been through this crazy experience, and we need to help other families. We want to help other people who are going through the same thing.
Okay, then for you to realize, just in this short piece, that the people that come to you have a burning desire,
Yes.
and they are ready to get out of their own way and be able to share it with the greater population because it made a difference for them. It's contrary to what most people believe, and they want to be the ones that are illuminating, this other way of looking at things or doing things possibly. And if you spoke to that burning desire and that you had the vehicle to help them do it, because they know what they want, they just don't know how to do it.
Yes.
And you're the one that shows them how to do it. Now, how does that change things for you?
That makes me feel really good.
But now you're really focused on who you need to be calling to you is people that have a burning desire, and they are not going to let the typical obstacles that maybe have occurred their whole lives stand in the way any longer.
Definitely. It taps in very deeply into I'm speaking at a very large expo in just a couple days, and it's the Best You Expo, and it's all about legacy. It's all about what is it within you that you want to leave as a legacy to make the world a better place, or your relationships a better, having better relationships, but overcoming those obstacles and sharing with the world that they too can overcome an obstacle as well, if it's being from rags to riches or from a health perspective. And that's where I'm going, and that's who I'm speaking to.
Yeah, that is your people.
Yes.
And therefore, great. What you really want to focus on, even when you're speaking, is really 70 to 80% of that part of what's going on, their burning desire, and then maybe 20 or 30% of how to do that.
Yes. And a good story thrown in there for measure.
Oh, you need lots of good stories thrown in there.
Well,
that's what's going to connect. So we have some idea now as to some criteria about your ideal client. We don't have enough time to go into all of that, but we know now that they have a burning desire and they no longer want the obstacles standing in their way.
Right.
There might be a legacy piece to it as well. The other thing now we want to look at is value. When you consider, and this, let's just stick with this one person. Can you give me a first name?
Lynn.
Whether it's her, Lynn. Okay, thank you. Okay, now when you think about Lynn, what was the problem that you solved for her?
Oh, you know what? I would say what I was able to do, or what I am, because we're currently working together, is taking this amazing human being who, her authenticity and integrity and kindness, it needs to come out. And what it was is that these are little just things of helping her get that message out, and everything from technical aspects to, from lighting and branding, sound, the art of the interview, where I'm working with her on that, how to conduct a beautiful interview to get the most out of her guests, and also to take stage, so to speak, and not just give it over to the guests, but because she's so amazing and so beautiful that I said, people are going to fall in love with you, and you are a conduit for your guests. So all I'm doing is just basically massaging those aspects of her. And
and part of what I'm getting a sense of that you do for Lynn, as well as your clients, is you do a lot of hand holding, of helping them navigate
definitely
the path.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it can be overwhelming too. I mean, not just if you're 70, even if you're in your 30s, it can be a little overwhelming and daunting, all of the aspects that you need to do in order to put on a podcast show, to launch it. Yeah.
Okay. Then that is something to really look at, is that you reduce the overwhelm.
Yes.
You help them navigate the path, and you show them how to take what it is that they want, that vision, and actually put the pieces in place in order for them to be able to do it in a way that feels genuine and authentic for them.
You could. Can you write my one sheet for me? No,
fortunately, you're recording this. I'm sure you have
yes,
people
that's
on
right.
the
I'm
team.
recording this. It's a show. That's right.
Okay, now that we have that part of the value that you bring, and this isn't really so much about the lighting or the branding or something like
You're
that.
right. Yes.
This is about being able to reduce their overwhelm, navigate the path in order to be able to get their message out to the world. That is the value that you bring to the table.
Yes.
You just happen to do it through podcasting and branding.
But what you said, because I really want to help people get their message out, not only in podcasting, but in speaking and in books. So we might have to just change my whole business model here, because the idea of helping people, and you're right, helping them navigate through, making it an easier journey and an enjoyable journey as well, so it's not so painful.
Yeah. I'm going to say for you ought to play with the words navigate the journey.
Okay.
That when you talk about that has a higher vibration than navigate the path. I would say navigate the journey.
Gotcha.
And just play with that, see how it lands. You might want to, I don't know if you want to try it at your next speaking thing, but I trust you to know when to deliver it and test it out. Okay. The next question we're going to move on to is, what is possible for Lynn once you've put this in place for her?
Oh my goodness.
I love your reaction to my questions. Because you probably do this for your clients also. And that's one of the beautiful things, is that I get to do for you what you do for everybody else.
I love that. Thank you. That's beautiful. So putting it in a proper phrase so it makes sense, is that I'm going to help her get her message out to people. I'm going to help her lift and inspire others. Even just working with her, because she inspires me as well.
Yeah.
And really the potential, it's not just limited, like you said, it's not just limited to the podcast. It's not just limited to a book. It's speaking, it's bringing others, mentoring others, inspiring other women too, who are in their 70s, to get involved, to share their wisdom, to do things that they really, really enjoy, whatever it is, if it's in their own community or if it's in a larger platform.
Okay. One of the things you mentioned about Lynn that I think is true for your ideal clients is your ideal clients inspire you.
Yes.
That is something for you to take from maybe the unconscious and really bring that to the forefront, for you to look at as maybe a key indicator as to whether you ought to work with someone and take someone on as a client or not, is if they don't inspire you, they're probably not a client.
Oh yeah, no, I choose, I mean, I choose my clients. If I have if I have a very good feeling about them, and I love their energy exchange and the way that they communicate with me. Yes. If they're just throwing dollars at me and they say, here, make me a podcast show, or, and they're not a nice person, I'm not working with them.
Well, I just want to unpack that a little bit more, not so much for you and me, but for the people that are joining us, is the purpose of an initial consultation is to really not just have them determine if you're a good fit for them, but you get to determine if that person's a good fit for you or not.
Yes. Yes.
If that person is a good fit, you can make an offer as to how to move forward. But if that person's not a good fit, and listen to your intuition about this. I just answered a question on a Facebook group about this early this morning, which came up too. So this is really important. If you know right from that initial consultation that there's red flags, that you have something going on in the back of your mind worth paying attention to, they're probably not going to be an ideal client, and it's easy to just bless them now and send them on their way
Yes.
than to take them on as a client, and then later on you really don't enjoy working with them, they're not a great fit. Firing a client once they started working with you is much more difficult than simply not making an offer during that initial consultation.
Bingo bongo. Yes.
Okay, so what you said once you solved that problem, what's possible for Lynn is that she's able to really get her message out, and she's going to continue lifting and inspiring others.
Yes.
Okay, the next question I'm moving on to is, some people are budget minded and price sensitive. What do you,
Yes.
and that's okay, because there's people in all different places within their business and all different budgets and so on and so forth. What do you do when that becomes a consideration?
I sweat. No. No.
That's probably true. Okay, then, and then what else do you do?
Well, because I offer a package, but I also, for those who are very budget minded and they're sort of watching their pennies, so to speak, as a lot of people are, and because they're overstretched. I do offer an hour consultation. The issue with the hour consultation is that I'm just getting started, even though I pack in a lot. I'm one of these people that can take an hour and put in, 6 hours of stuff and knowledge.
Okay.
So that's why I've been offering.
I'm chomping at the bit here, Christine.
I know. That's why I've been offering an hourly consultation rate session, but you're going to tell me something different now.
Yeah, we need to get rid of it. Because you're doing it because you think that you're being helpful, but you're giving them all this information, and it's going to probably overwhelm them, and they're going to shelve it and not really follow through and get the best results.
Well, and also I'm wanting to give them more, but I'm also wanting to take them through to the completion. And with just this hour, it's like going and getting, you need new tires, and it's just like getting one new tire.
Sure. Okay. You're not that type of woman. Why are you offering that in your business?
Because I thought that's what I'm supposed to do.
Okay. I'm giving you permission to get rid of it. I'm going to give you a couple different things around this. Is, first of all, with budget-minded, price-sensitive clients, they usually go one of two ways. Either they're just cheap and price is their main thing, and they're always looking for the best deal and to be able to get as much as possible for as little as possible.
Yes.
Those are not your clients. Those are the ones you just want to bless and send on their way. You don't want to ever negotiate on price. You can negotiate on features in order to adjust price, but you don't want to negotiate on price. And for you, and I'm sorry, for you, Christine, I'm going to just say, I don't know if you ought to ever negotiate, because I think that you would just put too much into something, and it would really undervalue your offering.
I give my all.
I know you do. That's why I'm saying I don't think for you ought to ever negotiate. The way to solve this is by the third step of my ultimate pricing blueprint, which is having packages is absolutely fantastic. However, what you want to start looking at is maybe having 3 packages that you offer during a consultation. The first one is what I will just say called the silver package. That is the one that has the basic necessities to really start to move forward and achieve what they need to achieve, but it's the bare minimum. These are for the ones that are startups. They don't have a big budget, but they see the benefits of wanting to work with you and having access to your wisdom and your process. So you want to have a silver package. Then you want to have the gold, and the gold is where the majority of your clients will fit in. This is really giving them what they need as well as what they want to be able to deliver in a way that feels genuine and authentic for them, having enough access to you to be able to create that possibly in partnership.
Correct.
Then there is the diamond, and the diamond is for people that always buy first class tickets on a plane. They want a lot of access to you. They might want it to be done for you because they recognize the value of what you have to offer, but don't have the time to do it themselves.
Correct.
And they're willing to pay for it because for them, time is their most valuable commodity, and they have more money than they have time. And
Right.
they're the ones that just bring people onto their team, getting it done. So they surround themselves with experts because they don't want to be the smartest person at the table.
Gotcha.
And create those three packages. And now when you're talking with someone, you can offer the silver, the gold, or the diamond, and then help them from that place of being a trusted advisor, making that decision that's in their best interest as opposed to your best interest. And sometimes the best decision is not having them work with you.
Right. Or also if they're not ready, if they're not in a space that they can commit that, for that, then I don't necessarily want to be working with them at that moment anyway.
Right. Sometimes it's not a no, it's just not right now. Then you can redirect them to your free resources, or it might be that you have a lower price program that maybe does this in a group format as opposed to one-to-one. That might be a better fit.
That would be the group, the online coaching calls, the group. Great. The group coaching calls, right?
Then that would be something to look at. And as they start to get some benefits from you in that program, which is now leveraged, they might eventually then be ready for one of those other packages where they get to work more closely with you.
Right, because they're going to fall in love with me.
Absolutely. They're in your community.
They're going to go, oh my gosh, she's better. She's better than I thought. Okay. We're going to work with her. Okay. So I love that. And I do love the levels I like that there's levels of packages and not just this big, thing. Also for me, it helps me because also it helps me gear my time and my commitment with a particular client. So that I know this is going to be, this is going to be full on. Their access to me is going to be more, or if it's at the silver level, it will be, in other words, it actually helps me organize what I'm going to be doing for them.
Right. And the silver level for you might have where they are somewhat DIYs. They're doing it themselves.
Yes.
You might be guiding them, but they're doing the implementing themselves more in that package. And the part of what you were mentioning and why this is really a way to go for service-based entrepreneurs like you is that when someone is thinking about working with you, their brain naturally goes into comparisons and judgment. They can't help it. That's how we're wired. We're always comparing and judging whether we want to or not. When you offer packages, it just shifts in a really subtle way what they're comparing and judging. Now, instead of comparing you to somebody else, and the question is whether they want to work with you or go in another direction. Now the question becomes how they want to work with you because they have now different options to choose from.
Nice. I have a question, teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. So with these different packages, do you or do you recommend on your website, do you list the different packages and how much they are? Or do you just say, I knew you were going to say that. Because it's not Amazon, right? You're not going and buying a shirt. So you just say, contact me and then in the conversation, in the consultation, in the strategy session, you say, I'd love to work with you. This is what I suggest, but you have your options between these different programs. Is that what you're saying?
Basically,
I got to rework my whole website now.
No. Basically, what we want, get your prices off your website. Okay,
let's just off your website. Okay.
Do that right off the bat because I just was telling you how they have to compare. If they are looking at solely your prices, they're making a judgment on price now as opposed to expertise. And pricing really doesn't give them any information.
Gotcha. Even describing what it is. Yeah, just take it off.
It really doesn't give them any information. Your clients have a connection and they're investing. They're investing in you helping them do something that they want. They need to have a conversation with you in order to really get this sense of what you bring to the table and how you just love on your clients, Christine.
Got it.
That has nothing to do with the rates that are posted in your website. They can't understand that or experience that until they have a conversation with you. All you want to do is just drive them into a conversation.
Oh, I'm so glad we had this show. This conversation. Okay.
And the very last thing I'm going to ask you about, do we have time for one more thing?
Oh, yes. Yes, we do.
Okay. Figuring out what to charge is a guessing game.
Yeah. How much do I charge, Loren?
Let's kind of talk about how do you want to approach the way that you price your services, and then I'll go into what I think you ought to be doing.
That's the you have this. This is why you're such a very famous business coach. Most people have such a hard time figuring out how to put a dollar amount on the work that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I do too. I do.
Mm-hmm. Right. And when we come to that, it's because most of us started out as employees. We were either paid by the hour, we were paid by the salary. It was possible that the person you worked for charged by the hour also. And because of that, we just think that that's what we ought to be doing as well, is putting our prices based on how long it will take and maybe the cost of running our business. So costs and time is how most people start pricing their services. When you do that, you leave a lot of money on the table.
I've left a lot of money on the table.
Oh my gosh,
Loren.
we all have left money on the table. I'm just letting you know, because this is messy. It's as much art as science, and it really, pricing to some degree is a guessing game. Let's just go there.
Yes. Yes.
The part that you want to look at is you want to price the client, not the service. Let me say that again. You want to price the client, not the service. And this is after I go through the Ultimate Pricing Bootcamp with my clients, where we figure out the prices and the packages. Then I start to teach them about how to be able to do enrolling conversations, which I call value conversations, as opposed to sales conversations.
Right.
We're not doing sales. Okay. And I don't know any entrepreneur for the most part that loves the sales part. So we really have what's called a value conversation, because we're givers. We're coming from the place of service and giving.
Correct.
Whether someone decides to work with me or not, I want them to feel that they took away value from our conversation, our time together. Because as a trusted advisor, I'm not attached to the outcome. Now, I might have a preference, but I'm not attached to the outcome.
Correct.
And the way to start to look at pricing your services is, once again, putting yourself in your client's shoes of understanding what is the value to them.
Correct.
This is starting to understand during that value conversation, what are their wants, their needs, and their desires. The needs are the very basics that they need to have. That's like the silver package to get this thing done, the bare minimum to continue surviving in this way or doing this thing. The wants are the things that they recognize they want to have. However, they can't actually achieve that result on their own. They're now seeking outside help by having a conversation with you. Their desires are the sweet spot. It's future focused. It's like, oh my gosh, if this would happen, then this is what would be possible. This is the impact I would be making. It's just the game changer. And you want to really connect with those needs, wants, and desires and start to price it according to that, then your time and how much it costs you to run your business. because this is an
Exactly.
investment. They're investing in themselves, not in you.
Yes. Yes. Oh boy, I have so many light bulbs going off.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so my challenge for you, I don't know what your pricing is, Christine. We haven't talked about that or
No.
gone there. This is a first conversation that you and I are really having about this. And I want other people to know that this wasn't rehearsed, this wasn't planned. We
No.
didn't go through the questions together. We're having a first time conversation right now. I want you to really challenge yourself of possibly doubling or tripling your rates by the time this conversation is over.
Oh, I already have.
Excellent.
I already have. Well, because I just
Excellent.
compared a model in my head. I just compared a model in my head and I went, wait a second. So in my business, I have different things that I do. So I create, because I have to make it vague. I create a product service, and that service makes this entity tens of thousands of dollars, right? So I charge them a few $1,000s, and it's not that much time. Doesn't take that much time from me, but the value of it makes them a lot of money, right?
Yes, it does.
So, and I'm fine with that model. I'm happy with that model. I will be raising my rates though.
Yay.
Because it's making a lot of money for them. But then with my clients, with my one-on-one clients, I know that I can make them money, help them make money if that's part of it, but also to make their dreams come true, get their message out. And yet I price it so low in comparison to the other service that I provide.
And I'm sure that there's a lot of people listening that are like, absolutely, that's me.
Yes.
I appreciate you being transparent right now, because your vulnerability is allowing the people that are listening to us really
that's what it's
connect,
all about. Oh, we want to help. We want other people.
Absolutely. I just want to acknowledge and appreciate what you just did, because a lot of people will not allow themselves to be seen.
Well, no, I made that connection. Because in certain realms, I have no problem justifying my salary or the money that I get for something, because it benefits someone else so much.
Yes.
But then with the coaching and the podcast, I'm putting it in a smaller box.
Christine, it's the plight of entrepreneurs who offer service. That is why my mission is really to help service-based entrepreneurs separate their fees from time, because you take more risks than most people do that have a 9 to 5.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur, you take more risks than the average person. And so often you're putting in, so much sweat equity, you barely ever get to enjoy the results. And I want to make sure that entrepreneurs who are really doing this, they're on a mission, they have a purpose, they're inspired, are well paid for the difference that they're making for their clients.
And for their expertise.
Absolutely. I want to help you make money.
Yes. You're my BFF. Okay, my wife is my BFF. You're my second BFF.
We're going to have to talk about that.
Well, and you talk about, to use your superpower that you have. We're all unique. We all have we all have a skill set that is just unique to us and that we're amazing at. And I love the way that you've just flipped the dynamics, and for our listeners and our viewers to know that you are not just an hourly time machine. You are someone who carries all this wisdom and knowledge that your potential clients, your clients are seeking, and they're coming to you for. And to value that knowledge and expertise. value that, because it cost you something, 20 years in the radio business. You learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You also pay your dues along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why also you deserve to be paid, because it's all those decades of knowledge and connection that you've built up over those years
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Right. The point that you're making, which is so important, is that you have to connect with your own value before you can expect someone else to value what you have to offer.
Say that again. That deserves repeating.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually part of the overarching umbrella of what I do. So the Ultimate Pricing Bootcamp is one part of it, but it's really, I have what I call the value formula. And the very first piece is personal value. And that's where you have to connect with your own value before you can expect someone else to value what you have to offer. And then it's pricing for value, and then it's having a value conversation. Those are the three components of how I work with people.
And what you just said is so extremely important for all entrepreneurs, but I know also with many women that I've worked with and that I've come in contact with, and it's just because of society and patriarchy and religion and socioeconomic situations. They undervalue themselves. That little voice that says, well, who am I to ask this? No one will want to pay me this. And that's conditioning for so
Yeah,
many.
that's one box that needs to be dismantled.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm going to do that now. I was talking to a wonderful, my publisher for the book that's coming out. And she said she spoke to someone who was intrigued and wanted to, had liked the idea of writing a book, but said, but who am I? I'm just a stay-at-home mom. And she's like, just a stay-at-home mom? Like, are you kidding me? You have skill sets that you've learned that are unique to you, that millions and millions of stay-at-home moms would love to know about, would love to learn. And isn't it interesting how we undervalue ourselves?
Yep. A whole other conversation. Anyway, from the conversation that we've had with the questions I ask you,
Yes.
What do you see as the next action step you're going to take, Christine?
I'm going to book a session with Loren Fogelman. I'm serious.
I wasn't expecting that one. I'm here for
I'm serious. And and because we're running a little bit tight on time. First of all, yes, and I'm working with you because you have just opened my synapses and helped me so much in just this short amount of time. And I know people listening and people watching already have benefited tremendously from this. And I'm going to say, again, master teachers, I love to bring them onto the show and introduce them to others. I'm going to say I would love to continue this too, if you're up for it, to do maybe a part 2 or part 2 and 3, whatever works for you, because I know that this is so important and so needed right now.
Okay. And you know what? That is a great conversation. What I would love is for the people that are listening, what is it that is coming up for them? What questions do they have? And for them to send it to you. That way, if we do another interview together, we're really serving your audience to the highest good and doing what's going to be in their best interest, as opposed to what we think they ought to be hearing.
I love that. I love that idea. And folks, if you want to send your questions, comments for a part 2 version of this interview with Loren Fogelman, you can send it to, it's just really easy. It's outoftheboxwithchristine@gmail.com. I'll put that here with the video and have it in the show notes. outoftheboxwithchristine@gmail.com. Now, before time gets to us too, I want to let you wrap up, but also you got to let people know how to get in touch with you and learn more about you, Loren Fogelman.
Thank you for that. If you want to read the book that Christine was mentioning, Get Paid What You're Worth, the place to go to is businesssuccesssolution.com/worth. So that is where you can get the Paid What You're Worth book is, which talks about really where your value is, your mindset might be holding you back, how to start to separate your fees from time, who your ideal clients are, and where you might be able to find them. That's what the Get Paid What You're Worth book covers. It is businesssuccesssolution.com/worth. If you feel that what Christine and I talked about today resonates with you, you are ready to really seriously move forward with your business by focusing on your value, coming from the place of really being that trusted advisor and doing what's in the best interest of your clients, but being very profitable also, then we can have a conversation. I can be reached at businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk. One word, /let's talk. And that's the way to get started and get in touch with us.
And I also highly recommend that when you go to that website, we'll have links through in the show notes and here on the screen for YouTube. But when you go, also look at her website and learn from the master. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to go,
Christine.
And then I'm going to go and revamp my website. Loren Fogelman.
Really, you shouldn't revamp anything until we have a
no,
conversation.
no, I'm not.
So I'm just saying, don't do it too quickly because things change once you know.
Oh no, we're going to talk some more, Missy. We're going to talk some more. And we talked about this before. You're Scorpio?
Yes.
That's right. See? Whoo! We're going to make some money.
You know what? It's really about being purposeful, and the money comes as a result of that. I want to really put that out there. The money is a barometer of how many lives you're impacting and changing.
Well said. Well said, darling. Thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for your time, and come back as many times as you want. Really, seriously. Everybody, please do check out our website. The link is going to be with the show. And I just want to thank you so much for coming into my life and for the value that you bring to so many people and the lives that you change just by your wisdom and your knowledge. I just want to thank you so very much, Loren.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And I want to, of course, thank you, wonderful listeners and viewers, for tuning in. If you want to know more about this program, you can go to outoftheboxwithchristine.com. If you want to know more about me, you can go to christineblasdale.com. Take a look at the website because it's going to change sometime soon. Please, if you enjoyed this, if you got something out of it, share this with others. Of course, you can like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, but the most important thing is that you share this information. And sharing the video is very easy to do on your social media. You just click that little share, little arrow, share, and share it with as many people as you can, because this is really important. And they don't teach this in school. They don't teach you this. So please do share this. And as always, I want to remind you to think outside of that damn box. All right. Bye for now. Hi, everyone. Christine Blasdale here. And why am I wearing this crazy beanie? Well, number one, it's cold here. But number two, because I am announcing something that I have been working on, and I'm so excited. I'm going to be doing live coaching calls online because I can't be in a million places at one time. And I have so many people asking me everything about podcasting. How do I get started? What kind of equipment? How do I interview people? What do I do to even just get started? Well, we're going to be having Boss AF boot camps online in these live coaching calls, 2 live coaching calls a month for those who become members. And you can be a member for a full year, or you can be a member for month to month if you wish. And it's everything about podcasting. If you want to start your own podcast show, but even better, if you want to be a guest on a podcast show, and if you have a business, a service, a product, a book, if you have something that you need to let people know about, the best way to get the word out is to be a guest on a podcast show. And I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know, everything that you need to make sure that you cover in the interview, how to get those interviews, and much more. So what do you need to do to make sure that you're on these live coaching calls? It's really simple. You want to go to bossafbootcamp.com. That's bossafbootcamp.com, and make sure you sign up so that I can notify you when these live coaching calls are going to be taking place. And you can be anywhere in the world and join me and ask me any question, and I'm going to be dropping some knowledge on you every single month, twice a month. So just head over to bossafbootcamp.com and let's make 2020 be the year that your dreams come true. And I'll be seeing you in those live online chats. Bye for now.